It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That, of course, Megadeth from the Live in Buenos Aires
That was garbage.
release. Shut up. Shut up. I was mellowing out. You're the one that got me high, and now I'm fucking mellowing out, and then you're bitching.
Well, at least mellow out to some good music, man.
Dude, how in the fuck did you think that was actually Jeff Tate in that last segment? Obviously, it was the real Jeff Tate. I don't know what the hell was wrong with you.
Did you really think that was Jeff
Did you
Tate?
think you were talking to an imposter? Why would you ridicule an imposter like that? And Jeff Tate, I'm sorry. If you're listening, I'd like to apologize again. I know you lumped me into the charlatan category with Curt over here, but I apologize. That was not my intent.
Let me clear.
So I would like to speak to you at some point and clear the air. So I apologize.
Can I clear myself here?
Please do, Stoner.
Yeah, how many pounds of weed have you smoked, for fuck's sake?
I think I've smoked more than he has.
Oh, no, you have not.
No.
Because while you were on the phone, he was packing and grinding and smoking and like, look at him right now. He's like wringing his knuckles like a fucking smack addict. Look at him. He's got like the twitches and everything. And here, go ahead, say it, Chris.
Anyways.
Anyways.
Normally when someone's gonna, guest, co-host, whatever, you fill them in on the inside shit or whatever. You don't say, hey, we're going to talk to Jeff Tate. I'm like, huh? What? All right, cool. Can I ask a question? Yeah, go ahead. Whatever. I find out after the fact, dude, that's not Jeff Tate. I'm like, well, fucking thanks for telling me, man. So whatever.
I'm good with it. I'm definitely good with it.
Whatever.
What a fantastic segment that last one was.
Oh,
Good
dude,
God.
that was solid. It's definitely solid, man.
When Sharon was talking to Neely, I'm glad my mic was off because I was crying. I was laughing so hard.
I'm glad you filled me in at that point.
Well, I was kind of had the microphone open trying to do the segment, dude. What did you want me to say?
Oh, that was unbelievable.
Just
That was
I liked it.
unbelievable.
Just maybe a little text message beforehand saying something like,
I didn't know he was
dude,
calling.
by the way.
Now every time Sharon calls in, you have to ask her how Wendell is doing.
Yeah, how Wenny.
That's the next question. The next time Sharon calls in, ask
Sharon,
ask
how's Wenny?
ask if it has a nickname now.
Yeah, how's Winnie? Well, we've definitely covered some ground tonight, talking a lot about a fucking plane crash and everything else, man. This has been quite the crazy show.
And I'm with you, man. Good to hear that those guys are safe, man. After meeting all those guys, the Rat and Dokken guys a few weeks ago,
sure,
that's got to be fucking scary. And that really, like, especially when they said, the pilot was like, well, yeah, people actually die from this. Like, I met them all, and they were so nice, even when I was being an accidental douchebag.
What if that was just a guy making a dick move? Like, I'm Joe Dick Pilot. Wow, how many people have died from this? Oh, man, I did my job.
You are so fucked up.
I'm with them.
Lord.
I'm with them. What
if, like, the movie Pulled was, like, one of the basic things they learn in flight school?
Yeah.
He could have been like, oh, nothing, we do this all the time,
Oh, there's an electrical fire.
Right?
Put it out. Why do I think this guy was smoking and fucking caught the seat on fire?
Well, dude, look at there was
Wouldn't
that
that be
one
great if it
flight
was?
where they fell asleep watching a movie on their laptops. Remember, they missed the runway by 5 states. That was a commercial, you know.
Look, at this point now that they're safe, I hope it turns out to be something really fucking crazy so they can all get a book deal out of it.
Well, that's fine.
It
was just after meeting them, they were such nice dudes. It's like, wow, that's good to see that they're safe.
Well,
man,
thank God they are safe, and if a plane has to go down, let Vince Neil be on it. Okay, I mean, fuck.
Wait a minute. Now, I thought your 2 least favorite rock stars were Bret Michaels and John Bon Jovi.
I would put Vince Neil above John Bon Jovi and below Bret Michaels.
Whoa, wait a minute. John
dude.
Bon Jovi, you said, was the
He's
single
a dick.
biggest asshole.
He's the biggest asshole
Vince
I've ever
Neil's
met.
worse than John Bon Jovi.
Vince Neil's killed people.
Dude, are you forgetting about Glenn Danzig?
Well, no, I haven't forgotten my moment with Do you know that story?
No, I don't.
Danzig
All I'll
is
say about
number one.
all I know is that Glenn Danzig's music is so goddamn shitty. Here's a brief story before yours.
All right, go ahead.
I will never forget. I had heard all these people talking about Glenn Danzig and Misfits and like he's the biggest badass. And when that Mother song came out, like I saw the video on MTV, and it's him all muscular and all of his bandmates all muscular, and it's a live thing. They're all sweating. And the chords come in and it's like all slow and mellow. Like he's like, "Mother, won't you come and find help me?" Whatever the hell. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna kick in and be some like Slayer shit. And it never kicks in, and it just is this faggy drum beat with this faggy bunch of guitars. Part of my gay reference. And I'm
terrible.
like, how is this guy the toughest son of a bitch ever? This is atrocious.
Which is why it was great to see him get knocked out.
Oh, don't even play it, Chris. Enough, because you got to tell your Danzig story.
Believe it or not, I don't have Danzig in my catalog.
So that's my Danzig story. Oh, so bad. Oh, I can't stand it.
I never liked
Mother, won't you come find help with me? Oh,
I'm not
God,
a big
is
fan
that
either.
bad?
I'm not a big fan either. But
anyway, so here's your Danzig story.
Well, I saw Danzig and Coal Chamber at the Odeon. Or the Agora, rather. And I did not want to meet Danzig at all, but I had a friend that was one of these misfit Sam Hain guys. So I was like, okay.
Shit.
Steph said you want to suck off Bret Michaels.
I would lick his scrotum, fucking bounce his little fucking pebbles right off my nose, and just fucking giggle like a little girl.
And it's not gay.
You want it on, Steph.
Look at that fucking jizz monster running fucking poison jizz down my face. And as the poison fucking worked its way to my fucking mouth, I would go, when I hear the jism, Lord, don't let it play. That's what I would sing.
Dude, what the fuck does that mean?
That was a poison song. Lord, don't let
Jesus
it play.
Christ.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was really Jeff Tate. This is what you're fucking talking about.
It's aching, and then she goes... He wants to pull Brett's hair so hard his plugs will come out.
Well, first of all, to pull Brett's hair, I'd have to fucking buy a time machine to do that at this point.
Right?
Isn't it sewn into the bandana?
How much you want to bet it is?
Oh, sure, dude. I have a hat that has that built in.
It's like one of those
It's
tourist
not that
hats.
hard.
Like those tourist hats, like it's a trucker cap with like a wig in the back.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, but it's a bandana.
All right. So, anyways, so your docking store, you saw them.
Check 1 2 1 2. Are you ready for this? Oh, yeah. 1 2 3. You know you want it. You know you want it. You know you get it, so you got it, so you flaunt it. Back up on it. You know you want it. You know you want it. You know you get it, so you got it, so you flaunt it.
Damn, what the fuck?
Dude,
if he would have just put Miley Cyrus in that, he would have been over the top with it.
Why? No, he wouldn't.
Bad.
He's already over the top with it. He's a 50-year-old guy singing about fucking backing up on it.
Dude, you know what?
You know you want it.
You know damn well
Why,
you are gonna...
why would you, as an artist, Kurt? You're a musician. Like
I think
know
it's garbage.
This is a different question than you'd be able to answer, Chris, because you don't actually like write tunes and stuff, dude. If let's say that you or I had actually had a musical career that expanded beyond one zip code,
yeah,
beyond the big tour of Akron and Cleveland,
right? Exactly. Right. Like if your band is good at something and you get popular doing something, why in the fuck would you go do something different? And the other question is, how can your ego get so overblown where you think, oh, my fans will like this, when you put out something like that?
Dude, it's just like Gene Simmons when he did Firestarter. Dude, it was garbage. It's like, you know what? Some people, you just got to stick with what you know and what you do.
Yeah, I don't understand why bands change, man. It's
okay to wait a minute. It's okay to change if you're progressing with the times. You know what I mean? And not a lot of bands do that, but when you're good at doing what got you there and you're Kiss and you're just playing that all the time, wherever you go, you're going to sell out. If you're going to do a freaking Prodigy cover, dude, just, whatever. We don't need to hear it.
I don't understand. I mean, it's like these bands change and these guys think that because I have fans, they're going to go along with every fucking thing I do. Like, no, dude, if they're a fan of yours because they like what you did, because you have a certain thing.
Yeah,
you can't just change it and expect them to stick around.
I'm going to slightly argue that, though. Hold on, because a guy like Bret Michaels, his music's not the important part anymore.
Right.
It's his fucking dumb face being on a fucking camera.
Exactly. I mean, look at, dude, I'm not a fan of Bon Jovi at all. But look at Bon Jovi, dude. They came out, look at what kind of music they were, and somehow they've been able to still come out with new stuff that sounds newer and still sell out arenas.
But it's still rock, though. It's still rock,
Right.
though. It's more of like it went from WMMS to like a 104. Like, and for people not from Cleveland, that's like going from the rock station to like the mellow rock station. But
they're still,
Check 1 2 1 2. Are you ready for this? 1 2 3. You know you want it. You know you want it. You know you get it, so you got it, so you flaunt it. Back up on it. You know you want it. You know.
I can't take it.
God damn,
dude,
that was
how
still.
many, you think that's actually playing in clubs anywhere, like dance clubs?
It might
No.
be. Sounds
Dude,
good to me.
Aiken, that's still the one review you did of the one Bret Michaels solo record and the review of Gene Simmons' Asshole are still the two best album reviews you have ever done. They are so goddamn
What
funny.
did I give this one, like a 1 or something?
Oh,
It's fucking
dude, you
terrible.
like I love how when you reviewed Gene Simmons' Asshole, your final thing at the end was like, yeah, this is an aptly named album because if you buy it, you're just an asshole.
I have such an eloquent way of putting things.
Yeah, I just don't get it, man. It's like I had back when you had Music's Bottom Line, Aiken, and I was writing for it, and Saban was writing for it. We had he and I we did a side-by-side album review of the second Linkin Park record, and Saban's take was, well, it sucks because they didn't change, and my take was, it's fucking great because they sold 12 million records in the first one, so why change? And the first stuff was good, so keep going. And I've just never been a fan of bands that change.
Right.
But when you change, sometimes though the style of music you do has to change. Otherwise, it just becomes old. When you go to see a show, and you see a band that's new and up and coming, and it sounds like they're playing music that was written in 1983, it gets old after a while, man. It's cool to go see Savatage, but I'd rather go see a band from the 80s that is out still, and yeah, they're playing the small clubs, but they're putting out new music that doesn't sound old and tired.
Check 1 2 1 2. Are you ready for this? 1 2 3. You know you want it. You know you want it.
Look what you did.
You know
gave
you
him another
get it, so you got it, so you flaunt it. Back up on it. You know you want it.
Oh, you didn't hit it enough.
I am officially fucking done.
Listen, see, you should have cut it off quicker so everybody can hear him sparking up that weed again. Oh,
Dude, I'm done.
I mean,
Done with
seriously,
what, the weed or talking?
yeah. Do you
No,
seriously want
topics.
your favorite bands to like change and do something goofy? That's why everyone has a problem with stuff like, as we were talking about earlier in the chat room, like a couple, like Scary and I were talking about Van Halen's our favorite band, like Van Halen 3. That was a little too much of a departure. But then Queensryche is a perfect example. When you go from Empire, and that's why some people have a problem with Promised Land because
Right.
they get a little different. And then you go to Here and the Now Frontier, you're like, this is, 2 albums ago I was listening to Empire.
Well,
3 albums ago I was listening to Operation Mindcrime.
Well, how do you explain the bands from the 80s that still have put out in recent years great albums that still sold a lot and got them into arenas? How many bands, like, hell, Van Halen comes back and they're going to sell out because they're Van Halen, just like Kiss and stuff like that. But why do you not see Rat at the Coliseum anymore? Why do you not see Quiet Riot at the Coliseum anymore?
Well, Quiet Riot, because you'd have to dig a lot of
Well,
holes
you know what
to
I
get
mean.
them back
You know
on
what
the
I mean.
I was
stage,
waiting for that.
But fucking
I was waiting for
Rat actually is a very good call because Rat put out arguably one of their top 3 albums ever,
Dude, Steph
last year with fucking Infestation.
Right.
Steph is busting your ass in
I
the
don't
chair.
care.
I mean,
She
yeah,
said
it's a good
Richie
album.
Sambora quit because John Bon Jovi's getting sucked by Chris too. Hussy.
You know what, Stephanie? Do you really want to get me fucking rolling when I'm fucking high and drunk? Do you really want to go at me, Steffi?
No, because you said you would ban anybody for dogging her tonight, so
I'll
you
ban
can't.
me tomorrow.
Oh, go fuck yourself. Now it's But
Some-
see,
not every-
but see, Kurt,
some
name
things have
a
to
band,
change.
but name a band that has had a massive stylistic change that still draws the way they used to.
Anthrax.
How, what? They did not have a
Hold on a second. Look, dude,
change.
Anthrax.
Sure they
wait a minute.
did.
Listen,
No,
seriously.
they did
Bullshit,
not.
dude.
They went from
Anthrax-
being a metal
they were
band to being a
metal.
rock band.
No, dude, not
Oh,
even.
give me a
Anthrax.
break. That is a
Anthrax-
horrible example.
Dude,
No
that is a
offense,
perfect
guys.
example, dude. Anthrax got huge with Joey Belladonna in the 80s. They brought a whole new style of thrash and music out there. But then he left. And that music style died as far as popularity goes in the States. So what happened? They got John Bush. And when grunge and all that shit was coming out, Anthrax were the only band out there that was doing metal, but they changed the way they were doing it. They had to because of the way John Bush sang. They became a totally different fucking band, but they still sounded like Anthrax. And now, they just came back through with Belladonna, and it was cool seeing all the old shit. But look at worship music, man. It's awesome, and it's nothing like their old shit. You can hear the taste of it, but it's changed. It's more modern.
If you want the big band that changed their sound completely and still draws like fucking maniacs, you go to U2.
It's not about not about changing.
We're not talking about them.
It's not about changing. It's about growing as a musician, growing as a band, and learning new things, but still being who you are.
I don't know, man. Like to me, Anthrax was always metal, though.
Right.
It wasn't such a change. And I guess I probably misphrased my question because Anthrax. It is a good example because it was different. But I think it wasn't such a change where they were a metal band and then all of a sudden they were a pop band kind of thing.
How about Metallica,
dude? And Nathan from Kentucky, excellent example. Metallica, yeah. I mean that is where you go from being a metal band to being just.
But dude,
yeah.
I saw Anthrax last year at the House of Blues in Cleveland with Belladonna, and even Scott Ian during the show stopped and said he was blown away on that tour how many young 13, 14, 15-year-old kids they were seeing in the show. Not kids that were coming with their our age fathers that were into Anthrax.
Right.
New kids that were listening to metal that, it's an old band, but it sounds new. It's not like the garbage, whiny crap that's out now. So that's a band growing and evolving.
Sure.
I just mean stuff like Queensryche, going from something like Empire to here in the Now Frontier is so extreme.
Yeah, but they went in such a shit direction that they went
bad.
bad.
But that's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying is like,
there's not many. There's not going to be many examples because why would you fucking give away the best example I could think of is Aerosmith. Went from being a fucking dirty rock band to being a fucking chick band, and they got bigger, not smaller.
See, I have a question about this because I was never an Aerosmith fan. I'm still not, but the one record I love is Permanent Vacation.
Okay.
And now, because I don't know their history, is that considered one of their chick band albums, or is that like the
the crossover?
Yeah. Is that the one that's like the last true rock album they did, or is that
the last
half and
true
half?
one that they did was done with Mirrors,
right?
And
is that the
then,
one? Is that
was
the
right
one,
before it?
And
then
wait a minute, no, the one right before Permanent Vacation was the one where they had a different guitar player, right?
No, Joe Perry. That's when Joe Perry came back
with what was that song? Let the music do the talking.
Yeah, Let the Music and My Fist Your Face.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, but when Permanent Vacation came out, the big hit was Angel, and Angel was the crossover. It was, but a lot of people wrote it off as, well, it's just their next dream on. So people didn't hate that album, but it also had Dude Looks Like a Lady, and, it had a few hits. So it was like the crossover. And then when they came back after that, I think that was whatever that Living on the Edge was, Get a Grip.
Pump was after.
Pump was... See, I liked Pump personally, but that was a total pop album.
Yeah, see, that's why I wonder, because, like, Permanent Vacation, like, Mr. Scary in the chat brings up a great... Heart's Done Time, the opening track. That's a great fucking rock tune. And they did have some really great rock tunes. And Mr. Scary, if you remember, refresh me, what's the one on the... It's like the first song on the second side that it's like... It starts out with, like, the creaking of the...
I don't know sides. I have CDs.
There's like a chair creaking and shit with, like, the... It sounds like a dude on the back porch. It's like a blues tune.
I don't know. It was called Inhale.
Shut up. No, but it's like that was on there. The song Permanent Vacation's fucking good. I mean, to me that was like a good straight rock album, but because I was never familiar with Aerosmith's history prior to. I was a 10-year-old kid.
You should go back and listen to some of the original
Just buy greatest hits. That's all you need.
No. Go listen to
Night in the Ruts.
Go look up the first couple of old Aerosmith
Toys,
albums, the originals.
Toys in the Attic is obviously.
Yeah, I mean, Aerosmith. They're a weird band for me because, they're unlistenable now, and the last 4 or 5 albums have been absolutely unlistenable. But I was still even on board with Get a Grip with Living on the Edge and stuff. I thought that was like okay when it came out. It got overplayed to death, but it wasn't so fucking cheese dick that you couldn't listen to it.
The problem with Get a Grip, I thought, was that the 3 ballads they put out from that all sound exact. What Crazy, Amazing, and Beautiful aren't those the 3?
Beautiful wasn't on that record, but it's it's the same song.
Yeah, there was 3 tunes that were exactly the goddamn same. And I'm like,
the Asteroid song was the same song too.
Dude,
I just want to close my eyes.
Yeah, dude,
I just want to come in your jeans because I miss you, baby. And I want to spray you with my jizz.
Dude, Shartap brings up a great band that's totally underrated in terms of Cinderella. That's a band who's like lumped into hair metal.
Yeah.
But they're fucking awesome live. Ooh, we have a call.
Hail and Kill caller, you're on the air. What?
You care if I chime in?
Please do, Doghouse.
What's up, Doghouse?
Hey. As far as Get a Grip goes, the weird thing for me about that album is the song that metalheads like us think is probably the best song on it is the one that the band and the label pretty much blame for almost killing the record, and that's Eat the Rich.
Yeah, Eat the Rich was solid.
That was
like
a great
that song.
tune. I didn't know that the label blamed that on almost killing it. I did not know that. Yeah,
it's in the Walk This Way book. The band says it, and I think John Kolodner or one of their managers pretty much blames that for almost killing the record, and then they put out "Crying" as the next single, and that supposedly saved it.
Right.
Wow.
Well, Doghouse, you're a musicologist of sorts, man. What band has changed their style and gotten bigger in your eyes?
Well, the first thing, I mean, that nobody has already said, ZZ Top.
Yeah, that's
true.
an
excellent example, dude. Very good. Yeah.
You go from Tres Hombres and Nageo to Eliminator.
Yeah, and they went from dirty rock band to slickest band in the world.
Yeah, but
right.
I mean that transformation was huge. But you don't really hear anybody cry and sell out like they do with Metallica.
Yeah, that is true.
Explain that. I think it comes down to the fact that Eliminator is still fun to listen to.
Yeah,
Metallica.
And then Doghouse, I think it wasn't quite. I mean, it definitely wasn't the bluesy, dirty Southern rock of previous stuff that they had done, but I don't think it's that different. You know what I mean?
But also,
but they were using. I mean, I read up on this somewhere. I can't remember where, but Chris likes to use the word organic a lot.
Yeah.
And that most definitely was not an organic album. They actually did Billy Gibbons and the manager actually did a study of what of popular top 40 songs at the time, and they studied how many beats per minute the biggest hits were.
Oh my God!
Really? I know it was totally calculated.
Jeez.
And supposedly there were songs that the other two guys didn't play on at all.
Right. So is that why the album after that was so goddamn bad? Because Afterburner was unlistenable.
Scary just brought it up. He said the album after Eliminator was the biggest departure, and that's what I was.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's like they tried to out Eliminator.
Yeah.
I don't think that ZZ Top got any flack for changing because Metallica came out and pretty much said we are never going to sell out. We are never going to do a video. We are never going to do this. And then when they did, it's like, I thought you weren't going to, where ZZ Top just did it.
They just, And on the flip side of it, there are some bands, everybody likes to single out, Motorhead and AC/DC as being, the ones that do the same thing over and over again.
Sure.
But for Motorhead, it still sounds good, and AC/DC sounds, nobody wants to admit it, but AC/DC may as well be Foghat for a band that never got out of the 70s.
You're very right about that.
But Doghouse here, that raises an interesting question because for me, I think there's something to be said for, and I was talking in the chat room people earlier tonight about a band like Testament where, a band may not change, but I think there's really something to be said for a band where when they said, we have a new record coming out, you just go buy it because you know what you're getting. I think, I don't know how you feel about that, but
some bands make the same formula still sound fresh, where other bands, I'm going to name a band that Chris has never heard of before, Iced Earth.
Who?
Oh.
Nice. It just sounds fucking stale. I mean, I loved Iced Earth with Dark Saga and Something Wicked, but by the time Glorious Burden came out, and it wasn't because of Tim Owens, because, hell, his credentials are sterling, right? But it was just the melodies were cheesy. He was doing the triplets over and over again. It was just predictable drum patterns. You'd heard it all before. It was stale.
Well, I wish I knew who this band was you're speaking of, but
I love it.
Well, let the knowledgeable metalheads speak.
Yeah, I will. Go right ahead. Go ahead. I'll stick with calling them Frozen Dirt and not acknowledging them ever.
Frozen Dirt.
And as far as Maiden goes, fuck. Matter of Life and Death was boring.
Oh, thank you. That record is horrible.
And then for them to do that concert of that album, oof.
They did a
Then
concert.
they had the nerve to be pissed off that
Yes.
people didn't want to hear that, 70 minutes of that bullshit.
Really? They did a whole concert of that
They
record?
did the whole album, left, came back and did like 3 tunes and called it a show.
Oh.
And
Dude,
then, and Bruce tried to make it into this big statement about how Americans didn't want to grow and progress, and just trying to write the whole country off because we didn't want to hear his fucking shitty album.
Yeah, no. Nice. Doghouse, I'm with you. Like, I'm a Maiden fan, and when that record came out, like, I bought it and I put it in. I'm like, what the hell is this crap? It was like, no offense to Jackal1 in the chat room if he's not there now, but it's like
that would be something he'd like.
Exactly, because it's like Nostradamus. It's like all that half-tempo bullshit where you're like, what the fuck? Like, that is not what I expected.
You know how Maiden used to have a bunch of troopers and Die With Your Boots On, and then maybe one Hallowed Be Thy Name or Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Right.
It's like ever since Bruce came back, they felt the need to just every song is a Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner or something.
Yeah, I know, very true. And what sucks is because Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner is personally my favorite Maiden tune. But I love Rhyme of the Ancient. But no, I agree with you. Although I will say this: that Dance of Death am I?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I love that record.
That's a pretty solid album.
Rainmaker's a great tune.
Yeah, that Dance of Death has had good good stuff on it also, and you notice also that Final Frontier, for being a Maiden album and having such rabid fans, and you remember the uproar, there's just a hype machine that Brave New World and Dance of Death and even Matter of Life and Death had.
Yeah.
Final Frontier came and went pretty much quickly.
Yeah, very good point.
Because that album wasn't very good.
It was better than Matter of Life and Death, though.
Well,
Matter of Life and Death. Doghouse makes an amazing point.
These
that
colors
record was,
don't run.
but it was Maiden. And
Yeah.
It was there and gone and forgotten quickly.
Yeah, Final Frontier was so much more a Maiden record than a Matter of Life and Death. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's weird because Maiden is one of those bands since Bruce came back that you really want to like, and you'll go to the show. If they come to town, you will go to the show. But there's nobody listening to that shit. There's nobody listening to any of those records now. Everybody,
the new ones, or you mean
the new ones?
Yeah.
There's from Brave New World to now. No one in this room has listened to those once in 5 years.
I can't remember the last time I listened to Brave New World, and when I did, it just struck me as how many songs that the chorus was just the title repeated over and over and over and over again.
Thank you. I was just about to say that. It's very repetitive, that record. Very repetitive.
Maiden is supposed to be so much better than everybody else, and so musical, and such great songwriters. They're not supposed to just go, no more lies, no more lies.
That is exactly the song I was thinking of. No more lies, and they do it like 8 times. Like, okay, I get it. No more lies.
Get it? Don't
Move
lie
on,
again.
dude.
You went to the trouble to write this 7-8 minute song, and that's all you can come up with for a chorus.
All right. That thing should have been cut in half by 4 measures.
That would be half.
Yeah. Well, true.
But on the other hand, speaking of old bands that are working on making new music,
Yeah.
I actually went and saw Kix last night.
How was that?
Yeah, how was it?
That was fucking good, man.
Yeah, they're solid, dude. They've always been good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's not overly heavy. It's nothing really original, but they're just a fun party band.
Sure. And their planes don't crash.
Went to
And their bars don't burn down.
This little club down at the beach. It's basically just a glorified carport. It's a concrete slab with a roof over it, basically.
Carport.
Nice.
That's pretty much what it was. About 300 or 400 drunk morons there, and it was fucking fun. It was weird because the town that it's in has new noise restrictions this year, just this summer. So at midnight, Kicks came on at 11 o'clock, and they played for an hour and a half.
Right.
But at midnight, they started pulling this like plexiglass partition down in front of the band to kind of block out the noise because there's old people sleeping.
So they put plexiglass in front of the band?
Yeah, and it was in front of the band. They didn't pull it down all the way, but they pulled it down part way.
So did it impact what you heard?
Yeah, and you could tell that like they kind of at the end of the song "Blow My Fuse," they kind of pretended like it was good night, thank you all for coming and all that.
Yeah.
But then they came back out for the two encore songs, and they were noticeably quieter.
Yeah, I was like, blow my fuse.
Wow, that sucks, man.
It was that's the fucking town council there. Seriously, you guys don't know it because you're not from the area.
Nope.
Nobody stays in Dewey Beach because they want to go to bed early. You go to Dewey Beach because you want to party. If you want to sleep, you go to Bethany Beach.
All right. I'll take your word for that.
But other than that, you got a solid 90 minutes and 13 songs. I think they might have wrapped up a little quickly because they pulled that screen down, and maybe they got the feeling that, we better hurry up because they didn't play For Shame at all.
Wow.
That was the one of all the songs they didn't play that I kind of wanted to hear, that was the one that I was really surprised that they didn't play because they pretty much always play that.
Well, that's just bullshit, man. I don't even know the song.
How were they performance-wise? I mean, how are they performance-wise live?
Yeah, was it like an interesting performance? Like they move around? Like was it cool? Like
yeah, Steve Whiteman was jumping around like he's a young dude and taking his shirt off. He's skinny as a rail still.
Yay for cocaine!
I wouldn't know about that, but his voice sounded good. He might not be the best singer in the world, but his day job is actually as a vocal coach. So he knows how technique-wise how to do it and not hurt himself.
Maybe we should find a way to put him in touch with David Lee Roth. Chris.
Yeah, really. Well, you know what? I mean, I think the biggest lesson that Whiteman would teach people is that when you play 2 gigs a year, your voice is well rested.
Is that all they play, really?
They don't play a whole lot.
He sounded really good, and the set list was kind of arranged so that the really high pitched songs were in the middle of the set, so he can kind of work his way up to it.
Right. No, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it was a great show, and I've always wanted to see them because they're one of my all-time favorites. So this was my first time.
Well, there you go.
Really? No shit. Cool, man. That's good for you.
So that was your impromptu concert report.
Nice.
This has been Doghouse reporting.
Doghouse reporting live.
This is one of the times where I actually get to talk instead of him.
Well, there you go.
or being talked over by Curt.
Sorry, I'm really.
By the way, Doghouse, you're going to appreciate this. I'm like we were talking off air, and I know we brought it up on air. Curt actually thought that we were actually talking to Jeff Tate.
We were.
No one clued me in on the inside joke.
He had no idea that it was like something on the show. He actually thought he was talking to Jeff Tate, so he was. So that's why he's like, "You're." Do
you not listen to this show at all?
Apparently not.
No, here's the deal, man.
He's too busy smoking weed.
It's been a long time.
Wow.
It's been a real long time.
I guess I'm flattered. At what point did you catch on?
When we told him after the interview.
Yeah. when the mics were turned off, and I was told, "Dude."
So didn't something some worm inside your brain start to tickle at your subconscious when Susan Tate initiated phone sex with Wendell?
No.
Doghouse, it was funny as I'm sitting there, you're calling me Jonathan, like ripping me and stuff like that. Like I'm looking at Curt and I'm going, stop, quit talking. Like I'm trying to like wave at him, like cut it out, like trying to let him know so it's not heard on the mic. But I'm like, shut the fuck up and let him talk. Like he had no idea, man.
And then and at that point they cut the mics and I learned. So once I was clued in the inside joke that I would have loved to have been a part of before I showed up, since it's been a long time, I apologize if I.
My life as the world's foremost Jeff Tate impersonator just gets weirder and weirder. That's all I can say.
I got to tell you, Doghouse, man, dude. I listen to the podcast every week and stuff, and Chris is one of my best friends. We talk all the time. I was so thrilled when you called in because I pissed myself over those segments, and man, oh man, that was fantastic to actually like have the real Jeff Tate on while I'm actually on the air. That was great, man.
Well, that's your brush with fame, my friend.
It really is. It really is. Did you hear me purposely? Like, if you want to call in, it's 216. Like, it's like perfect. I was purposely trying to egg it on.
Well, in my defense too.
When you start playing, especially frequency unknown, it's like the bat signal.
Well, in my defense, I'm sitting here and they're looking up tunes to play. And Chris plays Queensryche and looks at John while I'm sitting there and he goes, dude, I bet if I play Queensryche, we can get Jeff Tate to call. So I'm like, okay, that's whatever.
And he knows to play it after midnight, too, because I don't usually tune in until midnight.
Really? I'm like, really? Jeff Tate's going to call? Is that bullshit or what? And then the call happened and I'm like, wow, I guess it was Jeff Tate, whatever.
I just love how you, like, I had no idea. I thought you were just fucking with Doghouse.
No,
but then afterwards, we find out you're like, oh, I thought it was actually Jeff Tate. Like, you were actually thinking you were yelling at Jeff Tate. You were being an asshole, like, to someone who's actually, like, sold millions of records. I was
I
dude.
tried to ask an honest question, and he was like, fuck you, or whatever he said. So I was like, you know what? Blow me, dude. I don't care if you're Jesus Christ. Whatever.
He and Neely make a career out of patronizing Jeff Tate.
Not me. I support Jeff.
Oh, my God.
Hey, he can't hear you now. Admit it. You patronize him.
No, never. I'm loyal to the cause, my friend.
Doghouse,
Now you're doing it right now.
Right. Dude, Doghouse, I just love that Jeff Tate himself actually knows about that segment. And when Chris has to set up interviews with him, it's brought up. That is the best. That is fantastic, man.
I'm not going to speak of this because I'd like to have another interview.
That's fine. Dude, all I know is Doghouse, man, you're a fucking world champion, man. That shit. I every time I go to the podcast on Monday, I first thing I look for is the real Jeff Tate. I'm like, this rules, dude.
It's like every week I can't think how I can possibly get more over the top, and then the next week I come up with something else. Oh my God!
Dude.
I mean, fucking 4 months ago I didn't think how I could top the pony play episode.
Was it the horsetail butt plug you brought up tonight?
It was just something I read in a magazine. And I thought, I bet Jeff Tate would like that.
Dude, when Susan Tate was on tonight, it's such a good thing that the mics were off because Ask Aiken, I was sitting here like stomping the floor, just like smack. I had tears rolling down my face. I was losing it. I could not believe it.
That would have been funny. I mean, just think of the first Miranda episode.
Yeah.
Right
there it is.
Like Chris was coughing his lungs up back there.
And people were bringing it up in the chat room. In the chat room, they're quoting your lines in the chat room. It was so funny. Like, what was the one that everyone kept mentioning was like, Miranda, bring me the sheet. It's in the dryer.
Well, I'm glad I bring a little bit of sunshine into your horrible, miserable little humdrum life.
Nice.
There it is. Jeff Tate just came in for a little brief second there. Again.
Nice.
I am an ambassador of joy and a bringer of happiness. And on that note, I bid you adieu.
Fuck you, pal.
Fuck you, pally.
Hail and kill.
Hand job.
Hand job.
And there he goes, the Doghouse.
There it is. And I think that's how we wrap it up. It's already 3 in the fucking morning.
Is it really?
Yeah, can you believe that shit?
Wow.
2:59.
So, this has been fun. Trainwreck Radio. It's all good.
I don't know. I thought we did pretty good the last half of the show.
This is pretty good. This is pretty solid.
I think so.
Got to thank our guests tonight. There was plenty of them. We had Pete Weber from Havoc. We had John Levin from Dokken. We had Bobby Blotzer from Rat. We had Jimmy DeGrasso from Dokken. Wow.
That's pretty good. And 3 of the 4 were completely off the cuff.
Yeah, we're just kind of winging it. Next week, Neely will be back. Guests are what's his name? Ray Alder of Fate's Warning.
I thought you were about to say Reb Beach.
No.
Like,
No.
Wow.
Richard.
Richard.
Ray Alder of Fate's Warning. They have a new album called something about a different light. I don't know what it's called. I don't have it yet. But they're going to be on, and I think David Ellison of Megadeth is going to be checking in as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot you got that one.
So we've got those coming up, and we've got quite a bit of other shit coming up. We didn't even talk about Spotify tonight. We didn't even talk about fucking iHeartRadio tonight. We did not talk about a lot of shit, but
I can do it in 2 sentences. Spotify contacted the Classic Metal Show to put them on Spotify, and the Classic Metal Show is this close to becoming their own channel on iHeartRadio.
Right.
So there you go. You can go into more detail next week, but that's
Nice.
a little
Very
teaser.
nice.
Yeah, we're growing a little bit.
Many congrats to you for that, by the way.
Which
man.
is amazing because we're doing this dumb show where I get fucked up and fucking high, and people are like, "Yeah, that's what we want."
Yeah,
We want
thanks
this shit.
Thanks for having me down, man. It's
Hell
been
yeah.
a long time. It's been
Fuck
fun.
yeah, this is fun.
And thank you. Thanks for letting me come on here and goof around. Like,
Yeah, well, it's always fun,
hope everybody in the chat room and everybody listening had a good time. Like,
I could give a fuck what they had. Fuck
Oh,
them. It's
I
all
could.
about me.
you self-righteous fuck.
Yeah, I am. So I'm out. We're out. I'm gonna leave this one not peaceful as always. I'm gonna give this one to my girly Steffi, who put up with our bullshit tonight. This would be Slash. This would be Standing in the Sun.
Love it.
It is fucking from Apocalyptic Sun. Until next week, it is Chris Aiken with these two fucks, and we will see you
Later.
Classic Metal Show. Thanks, guys.
Bye, kiddies.